There was a time when Bill Gates' life was filled with noise, constant meetings, ringing phones, flashing cameras, and endless opinions. Every minute was scheduled, every word analyzed, every step watched. But one day, after decades of running faster than anyone else, he realized he didn't even remember what silence felt like. It happened during a long flight home from a global conference. The plane was quiet, the lights dim, and for the first time in years, there was no one around asking him for something, no interviews, no investors, no expectations. Just him and the hum of the engine. And in that stillness, he felt something strange, discomfort. He realized he didn't know how to be still anymore. So, when he returned to Seattle, he made a decision that surprised everyone around him. He canceled meetings, turned off his phone, and drove to a remote cabin by a lake. No Wi-Fi, no TV, no staff. Just silence. His assistants thought he needed a break. But what he really needed was a reset. The first day was unbearable. He reached for his phone again and again, out of habit. He wanted to check emails, read the news, plan the next thing. His mind, trained for decades to solve problems, didn't know how to stop thinking. But the silence didn't care. It just waited, patient and still. On the second day, he noticed the sound of wind through the trees, the way water rippled when a bird landed, the rhythm of his own heartbeat. The world, without noise, suddenly felt alive. And for the first time in years, he began to listen, not to people, not to machines, but to himself. He realized that silence doesn't mean emptiness. It means space, space to think, to feel, to understand. For so long, he had filled every second with action. But silence reminded him that wisdom comes not from speaking, but from listening. He began writing down thoughts, not business plans, not ideas for new projects, but questions. What really matters? Who am I without my movement, but in awareness? When he finally returned home, his team noticed something different. He spoke slower, smiled more, and seemed lighter, as if the weight of the world had quietly lifted. One of his colleagues asked, "What did you find out there?" Bill smiled and said, "Nothing. And that's the best thing that's ever happened to me." Later, during an interview, someone asked him, "What advice would you give to young people chasing success?" He paused and replied, "Learn to be comfortable in silence. Because when everything else fades, money, fame, noise, silence is where you'll finally hear your own truth." Since that retreat, Bill makes time every year to disappear for a few days. No technology, no plans. Just silence. Because he knows now that the answers we search for often hide in the quiet moments we ignore. And maybe that's what silence taught him, that peace isn't about escaping the world, but about listening deeply enough to understand it. So, when you see Bill Gates today, calm, thoughtful, and unshaken by the world's opinions, remember this: it wasn't success that shaped him, it was silence.